probably accepts it. He probably loves the challenge and all, but realistically, these are not steps that are really realistic.
Well, I'll tell you, just, from my perspective, if he tries to go for that, I see him pushing the ball too much, turning the ball over. You don't want that. You want him where he's taking care of the ball. Now, that's one thing he has done. That's why they made the playoffs. Take care of the football, because you want to win. But if he starts pushing it, trying, taking chances where he's letting the ball go and he's not sure, and he's turning that ball over, then you wind up somewhere next year on somebody's bench.
Okay? All right. We are 3 weeks out from training camp. 3 weeks today to July 26th. Let's bring my friend from Fox 29, Garry Cobb, in here, man. Garry Cobb, 3 weeks out from training camp. You were doing what, and what were you getting ready for? What was your biggest concern as you were getting ready to go to training camp?
Well, I tell you, when Buddy was here, it was those doggone up-downs. Oh, man. He destroyed everybody with those up-downs because, at the end of practice, you had to go down. He'd make you do about 60 of them. Make everybody do them. But if you weren't doing yours properly, then you had to run and you just had problems. You were going to have to do them every day, So those up-downs, I worked on those up-downs, so I made sure that I wasn't going to have any problem doing those up-downs after practice. So that was it with Buddy. Jimmy, man, he liked to run.
Oh, those 16 110s. Hey, let me tell you, Garry, at Miami and in the NFL, when I got with Jimmy, I was like this. I think I made those things one time in 5 years with him. And because just so people know, you got to run 110 yards. And big dudes like me had to do it in 19 seconds. And I think we got like 40-second breaks in between.
Yeah.
And guys like Garry had to run it, I think, in 17 because he was a linebacker.
Yeah.
So, hey, I remember, hey, Garry, you may have been there when that guy got thrown off the field when he had that asthma attack. And that guy goes like this, asthma? What do you mean asthma?
Yeah.
Asthma field's over there.
That's right.
I was like, great. That's on the other side of the fence.
Hey, crazy. Yeah, well, that was the time where, Jimmy believed in, you being in shape. And really, Buddy was like that. We used to have to run in college, man. But those up-downs, I did not. Because I saw guys had to do up-downs all training camp. Every practice, they got to do up. They were done, man. They had no chance of making it. So
that's old school shit, Garry.
That's old school.
He got that from the Bears, didn't he? From the old Bear guys.
Yeah.
Some of these.
Okay, I'm on the air.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I love it, Garry. So today, I put this list out here from Pro Football Focus, and a couple days ago, they ranked the top 32 rosters. In the NFL. Pro Football Focus, which is becoming kind of like a place where a lot of media people go to get some of their intel because they evaluate quarterbacks, this and that. You and I know you can take.
And they do a pretty good job of it. I think they're pretty close to legit, because most of the time I look at it, I say, yeah, I would probably put that team right there too. So
how about this though, Garry?
All the numbers. Yeah.
They got the Eagles as the 7th best roster in the NFL and the 4th best in the NFC. You think they're right?
I think they're very close. But, the thing is, you still got that QB, man. That everything the QB is worth more than everything else on that roster. You know what? Like, I was just hearing them talking about, I heard the guys talking about Jalen as a competitor, that he might be the most competitive quarterback in the NFL. And in certain ways, I would agree. He's tough, but when you talk about pinpoint accuracy, reading that defense, all that stuff, come on. Tom, you got, Aaron, you got Tom Brady. Those guys, like Tom, game's on the line. Every throw is like on the money, man.
Yeah, but Garry, every time I hear people talk to me about Jalen, it's like he's a competitor and he works hard, and I'm like,
yeah,
I just want to hear he's accurate and he could throw the deep ball.
Come on.
I don't care about that other stuff, man.
Yeah, because at the quarterback position, competitive is important, but it's not as important as that arm reading what's there and then getting rid of that ball and putting it on the money. At the quarterback position, it's not the same as if you're playing linebacker where you got a guy that's, is playing hard and, he's got to be on the money and everything. And so that's why I think it's exciting, man. I think it's going to be fun. And from what I've gathered about him, I think he's going to I think he thrives out of that competitiveness. I think that's going to help him. So everybody's waiting to see it, man. I can't wait till they get started. I'm going to be out there checking out that training camp, man, seeing what these guys are doing, man.
I can't wait either. Do you think that Sirianni is tied to Jalen's success for him to be the long-time answer here as head coach?
Yeah, I would say so, probably, but it's not a definite because if Jalen were not to, pass the test this year, they're going to draft another first-round quarterback, and then he's tied to him. So I don't think because, Nick is just starting, I think that he has time to really work with another quarterback if that were to happen. So it depends on, how this thing goes this year. But I think Nick probably, the bottom line is Nick is not on the clock as much this year where, hey, it's on the line. It's on the line for Jalen this year. It's on the line because you're looking at a $40 million or, $30 to $40 million contract. Are they going to give that to him? He's got the shine, so Jalen is got the clock. He's on the clock. Not as much as Nick. Nick has got, if he were to have a bad year, then he'd be on that clock next year.
But Gary, when I look at the ability of Hurts, I don't see 40 million.
Well,
I mean, when I look at Justin Herbert, I see 40 million. When I look at Josh Allen, I see 40 million.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how about this? When I see Dak, I don't see 40 million.
Yeah.
Okay. But if that's the case for for Dak, I surely don't see 40 million. And I'm wondering, look, you've got these games against these quarterbacks. You're going to have Jared Goff in the opener. He did win an NFC championship. You're going to get Kirk Cousins, whatever you think about him, with all the 4,000 passing yard seasons. He's got 6 of them in 10 years.
Yeah.
Then you got the 2 games against Washington and Carson Wentz. Then you got Trevor Lawrence. Then you got Kyler Murray. Then you got Dak before you head into the bye. You got to beat, if you're going to be a $40 million a year guy, Gary, you got to beat Dak. You got to beat Kyler Murray. He's in line for $200 million in Arizona. You've got to beat those guys. And then you got the Packers in week 12, right?
That's right.
You've got to, you can't go through a season like you did a year ago, beating teams and good quarterbacks to be considered a $40 million a year guy. Am I right?
I would agree. He's that's why it's such an important year because he has to shine. And I think if there's ifs and, then, hey, he doesn't get the money, man. He's not going to get that kind of money. I mean, they're not going to make that kind of commitment to him if he doesn't shine, where it's quarterback shine, meaning like you make, 10 great throws on a drive and boom, you take them down and you throw for 400 yards and, all that type of stuff. Those are the type of things because he's got weapons around him that would justify doing that kind of thing if you're a big time quarterback. So I think there's so much on the line for him, man. He is definitely in a position because when they went out and got A.J. Brown and, everything else they've added, there are no reasons you could give an excuse. You got a great offensive line, great running game. You got great receivers throwing the ball to. You got to show us. We don't want to see 40-point games where, boom, you just jump on people, blow them out, man. Or
Gary,
if you're playing against a real good team, you score right along with them.
Gary, do you think that Jalen and the Eagles would be open to this? A shorter-term deal of 3 years at $30 million per.
Yeah.
And if you say the team wins the division, they get a playoff win. You see improvement. They offer him a 3-year contract, a team-friendly contract at 30, with opportunities to renegotiate the contract after the 3rd year, because if he's improved enough, it gives the team lateral movement when it comes to filling other needs on the team.
Yeah.
They're not breaking the bank at $45 million. We always see when you have a $45 million a year quarterback,
Oof.
you most likely can't keep a $25 million a year wide receiver.
That's right.
That makes A.J. Brown more likely to stay with the team instead of giving Jalen the 45. You think everybody would be open to that kind of conversation and dialogue?
I think that Jalen would, because he seems like such a level-headed kid. I think he would go open. And what you just said there would be the thing to keep him here. See, because, is he going to have that explosive year where you're talking about 40 million? Now that's a stretch, but to where he improves and you still want to see a little more, but you love the fact that he's with these guys. They're close. Everybody's getting better. You don't want to break that thing.
And you don't want to start over.
That's right. You don't want to start over. And so you go ahead, if you could work out that kind of deal. I mean, look at Tom. Tom's taking less. You win.
He took less in New England. How many decades did he take haircuts up there in New England?
That's right. But he got the rings. He's got the rings. Everybody else, and then ultimately, if you get the rings, you get the money. We know that. Ultimately, you're going to get all the money anyway. And so that's the kind of thing that I could see them doing, because I think he's a level-headed kid to where he's not the prime where he's going to be letting his agent tell him what he's going to do. And wait a minute. You go in there and you work out that deal. Give me 25 to 30 million. I mean, if you're making 25 to 30 million, you sleep good at night. Come on.
Right now he's making $1.1 million.
Yeah.
And you go to the Eagles, and again, now you have 2 first-round draft choices next year.
Woo,
wow. And say you see 3,700 passing yards, 23 touchdowns. It's not quite the improvement that you're hoping for with the 17th game. You'd like to see him hit the 4,000 mark.
Yeah.
But if you see enough to go like this, I don't want to rip this thing apart here, man. I mean, Jalen, and I hope you don't want to go somewhere else, because you're not going to get $45 million on the open market.
That's right.
With a 3,700-yard passing season and 22 touchdowns.
I mean, the thing is, he's most valuable here.
Yes.
He's not more valuable
like Dak was most valuable in Dallas and nowhere else.
That's right. So the thing that he would want to do is, what you're saying would be a message to his agent. If he has some sense, he will start talking that way right now, because really, if he's doing it behind the scenes, because now if he were to go to explode, which I don't see that. I see him making incremental steps. And so the next incremental step would be 3,700. It would be where he's showing sparks. And there are times when he has very good games, but he's not doing it all the time.
These are reasonable steps here. Instead of doing this, Gary, well, shit, man, it's all on the line. 42, 4,200 yards, 35 touches. Man, to go from 31, 100 yards passing, then 16 passing touchdowns to hit 35, man, you're asking this guy to do things that are not capable. And I kind of told the folks here, I go, Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, Gary, with having A.J. Brown there, he only averaged 68 catches and 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns a year. You're expecting Jalen to turn this guy into a 1,300-yard guy where he's never been that guy. And you're asking so much to go like this to the kid. I bet you he probably accepts it. He probably loves the challenge and all, but realistically, these are not steps that are really realistic.
Well, I'll tell you, from my perspective, if he tries to go for that, I see him pushing the ball too much, turning the ball over. You don't want that. You want him where he's taking care of the ball. Now, that's one thing he has done. That's why they made the playoffs. Take care of the football, because you want to win. But if he starts pushing it, trying, taking chances where he's letting the ball go and he's not sure, and he's turning that ball over, then you wind up somewhere next year on somebody's bench. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the mindset where he's thinking about winning. Now, I will give him that. That's what he was thinking last year. He's trying. We need to win. I don't care how we win. We need to win. So you take care of the ball. You have incremental steps where you get up to 3,700. Let's say you throw 23 touchdowns. You throw 7 interceptions. You take care of the ball. The team wins. Then they come in. They say, "Look, we love you. We know we love this kid. We want to keep this kid here. But you have got to meet us to where we're working together and we're going to have a better team. He's going to be better next year. We want him here. We're telling you we want him here. We'll give him 30, like you said, for 3 years. We'll work something out. If he continues to go up, we'll have something later on to where, boom, those numbers are going to go up. If and when but we want him here. Work with us. That's what he tells his agent. I think Jalen goes there and tells the agent, look, you work with him or I'm going to get somebody else in here.
Last question for you, Gary. When it comes to Nakobe Dean, would you rather see him lined up in a 34 over guards, or would you rather see him in a 43 behind the 2 tackles where he had easier space to go down the line of scrimmage to give him more opportunity at being more productive? When you have 2 tackles in front of you and you got the triangle in front of you, because this is kind of what he had at Georgia. He's a little bit undersized.
That's
not
right.
the biggest guy on the planet.
True.
You line him up over some of these guards in the NFL, like especially the guards that they got in Philly, 6'6", 6'7", 350 pounds, and he's 215.
Yeah, I don't like
asking
that
a lot
matchup.
for a guy in his rookie year to line up in a 34 over those guards.
I don't want him lined up in that 34 like that. You're right. I would like him where they do different things and have those guys shield him where he is lined up in the middle. And in fact, I would have him almost kind of a step behind them, where he's almost kind of lining up behind one of them, because he's a smart kid. The thing he's going to make plays on, he's quick. He's going to be able to anticipate what people are doing to him, and that's the way he makes plays. He doesn't make plays so much coming off the block and everything. No, he'll scrape up into the hole and different things because of his quickness and his smarts. That's why you want to let those big guys shield him, especially his big boy, Big Jordan. Big Jordan can keep 2 or 3 guys off of you.
Yeah, so Gary, that's funny you say that, because I love that technique that you, because I always did this too, and I talked to Michael Carter about this, and I'm just going to use the nose guard.
Yeah.
Sometimes Michael would let that guy get his head front side, but he would have control of him, and he would keep the backside, and he would be pushing the pile down, and he's playing that technique on the backside. Most of the coaches want our head front side, the whole thing there. Yeah. But when you get front side like that, boy, you're talking about taking on big people in traffic.
That's right.
With a dude who's not really all that big.
Yeah.
So you'd rather see him trail.
I would rather see him trail. I want him to. I would really give him the freedom to work with the guys there, where he could give them calls, to where he stunts them at times, because I think that's what really gives offenses problems. It's when those guys are moving at times, and they take a step, and that guy's going the other way, and with the quickness that he has, because a lot of times the offensive lineman is going to have a trouble getting to him because he's too quick for those big guys, And most of the time, he makes his best plays. Looking at the Georgia tape, he makes his best plays when he's touching nobody. He uses his quickness to scrape up into the hole, and he makes a good hit and everything. But if he's getting entangled with these big guys, he's not going to make plays like that.
No, hey, okay, we close on this. How many of those did you have to do for Buddy? How many of those things did you have to do?
Now, this is what really used to tick us off. There's one guy that's not doing them right. So what he's doing, he's going, okay, he's counting them out as we're doing them, right? So he gets to 20, and he says 20 again, and then another 20. Man, hey, coach, what is because JoJo or somebody back there is not doing them right. And we're going like, kid, if you come out here and cut this kid.
Wait a minute. Hey, JoJo doesn't have his chin strap on, and let's do him again.
That's right.
I'm going to beat your
ass. Hey, I'll tell you what. Those guys used to come up with all kind of injuries, man, when we had to do those up downs. Believe me. Hey, Reggie's stomach was upset. Oh, my stomach. Hey, he's been working the trainer all day already.
Hey, Gary, I got hit by a sniper last night, man. He hit me in the back.
Hey, Jerome didn't like him either. He didn't like him either, man.
Jerome doing up downs. I would have loved to have seen. There's no way, man. Hey, Jerome Brown doesn't have his chin strap on.
That's right. Hey, oh man, that was the worst part of practice. He always had that at the end of practice too. After you've expended all this energy, now we got to do some stinking up down.
Not good, Gary. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right,
you got it. That's Garry Cobb, man. Please hit the like button. I keep seeing Jerome doing up downs. Okay. Hey, my friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. That means this, my friends. If you're hurt or injured on the job, finding that attorney for you and your family is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. For the people is not a slogan. It is what they are, and it's who they are. For the last 30 years, they've collected over $13.5 billion, making sure their clients are properly compensated. No such thing as a fender bender at Morgan & Morgan. They're the biggest attorney firm in the country. Over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida. They're ready to do battle for you. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation is free. Open 24/7, 7 days a week. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.